In the quiet rustle of leaves and the soft creak of wood beneath bare feet, we welcome you to Verdo Studio, a space where the forgotten is reborn, where scraps become stories, and the garden becomes a place not just of beauty, but of meaning. Here we don't chase perfection. We celebrate the gentle art of creation. A painted spoon that catches the morning sun. A rusted tin can that blooms with quiet light. A cracked bucket cradling lavender like it always belonged. Each project we share is rooted in something deeper than craft. It's rhythm, memory, and care. It's about the simple joy of making, with our hands and our hearts. And often, with the very things we once thought we'd throw away. But before we begin, a small, respectful note. This content was composed with the help of AI, carefully guided to reflect a calming voice, practical wisdom, and poetic depth, so that your viewing experience flows gently, like a quiet morning breeze. We believe in transparency, and in the harmony between human creativity and modern tools. If you find peace here, if these ideas bloom quietly in your heart as they do in the soil, we invite you to stay, to grow with us, and to subscribe to Verdo Studio, so each week new inspiration can find its way to your screen, softly, sincerely, and sustainably. Now breathe, let go of the rush, and let's step into a garden of ideas, together. Welcome to Verdo Studio. Sometimes inspiration hides in the most unassuming corners of our homes, like that old laundry basket, once filled with socks and Sunday chores. But today, it becomes a cradle for life. Wrapped in coarse burlap and softened with trailing blooms, it sits gently on your patio, breathing new purpose. This is not just a planter, it's a quiet revolution. By lining the inside with breathable landscape fabric or burlap, you give roots a soft place to settle while letting excess water drain freely. Add rich soil and your favorite flowering plants, geraniums, marigolds, or herbs, and suddenly, that tired basket becomes a proud little ecosystem. Don't worry if it looks worn. That's the charm. Paint it with a stencil, or let the phrase speak their own language. The handles make it easy to move as sunlight shifts with the seasons, and the size allows for generous root growth. What's beautiful about this project is not just the outcome, but the feeling of grounding it gives. You're not just saving money or recycling, you're reclaiming rhythm. You're slowing down, watching lavender curl toward the sun, brushing soil off your fingers and smiling at your own handiwork. So next time you're about to throw something away, pause. Could it grow something instead? Let your garden tell stories of transformation, one humble basket at a time. In the quiet corners of your garden, something elegant and unexpected begins to appear. Not high-tech gadgets or expensive systems, but forgotten wine bottles, now turned into silent stewards of hydration. There they stand like guardians of the soil, delivering life drop by drop. This DIY is for the thoughtful gardener, the one who leaves the city behind with a deep sigh and returns to the scent of basil and the slow unraveling of time. Simple. Fill the bottle with water, cap it with a drilled cork or a water spike if you have one, and nestle the neck firmly into the soil. The earth will draw in what it needs, no more, no less. When you step away for a few days, your garden doesn't miss you. It remembers you in every droplet that gently nourishes its roots. You can leave the bottles bare for a rustic touch, or paint them with gentle spirals of color to match the herbs they feed. Old Riesling or Merlot glass becomes more than just waste. It becomes part of the rhythm of your garden, its slow breath in and out. This technique doesn't just hydrate, it teaches. It teaches trust in simplicity, beauty in reuse, and patience in growth. With every bottle you plant, you're not just saving water. You're planting intention. Let your garden grow quietly, gracefully, even when you're not there to watch. When the sun dips low and the breeze becomes a whisper, your garden begins to glow. Not with electricity, but with memory and craft. Little lanterns, once humble tin cans, now cast delicate patterns of light that dance across the earth like fireflies. This project begins in silence. You fill each can with water, freeze it overnight. Then, with steady hands and a small hammer, you tap, tap, tap. Each hole you make isn't just a puncture. It's a starlight waiting to be born. Some carve hearts, others constellations. All of them hold stories. Once thawed, paint the cans any color you please. Sunflower yellow, sky blue, chalk white. Add wire handles, drop in a tea light, and suddenly, what was once discarded becomes poetry in metal and flame. Hang them from branches, line them along the path, or scatter them around your patio. The light they cast is subtle, warm, like memories of old summer evenings and the hush of wind in trees. It's more than decor. It's atmosphere. It's mood. It's a way of saying, this place is loved. And the best part, you didn't buy a thing. You repurposed, recreated, and reclaimed something that might have ended in the bin. Now it lives again, in flickers and glow, in the smiles of visitors who pause to wonder how you did it. Let your nights be gentler. Let your garden shimmer. Light it with your own two hands. There is something deeply satisfying in pressing fragments into place. Tiny, forgotten things becoming part of something whole again. A bottle cap, once twisted off and tossed aside, finds new purpose beneath your feet, guiding you through a garden grown from thought and love. This DIY begins with gathering. The hunt is half the joy. Red cola caps, blue mineral water lids, rusty old soda brands. Each carries a memory, a flavor, a moment. Next comes the mold. A simple round or square shape filled with fresh concrete or quickset mix. While it's still wet, you begin to play. Not with randomness, but with design. Spirals, stars, the initials of someone dear. With gloved hands or careful fingers, you press each cap gently into the surface, arranging color and story. Leave it to dry beneath the sun. And when it hardens, lift it from the mold like bread from a basket. What you hold now is more than just a stepping stone. It's a mosaic of memories. A bridge between usefulness and beauty. Scatter them across the garden path. Lead a trail from porch to flower bed. Or place just one beneath a tree to invite barefoot wandering. Children will trace the patterns. Visitors will ask. And you will smile. Because every step on these stones is a step toward something sustainable, creative, and utterly unique. This is how we reclaim joy. Not in perfection, but in pieces. In scraps that shine when given purpose. Let your path be handmade. In the hush of early morning, your balcony or backyard wall can become something extraordinary. Not with expensive tools, but with empty bottles and a little imagination. This is where urban gardens begin. Not with vast space, but with vertical hope. Cut a plastic bottle lengthwise, poke a few drainage holes underneath, and fill it with life. First soil, then seeds, then dreams. Basil, cilantro, chives. Each finds its place inside these once discarded vessels. Tie them gently with twine or wire onto your fence, wall, or wooden frame, spacing them like musical notes on a staff. Soon, green melodies will grow from their mouths. Painting the bottles adds personality. Maybe a sunshine yellow for thyme, a sky blue for mint. Label them or let the shapes speak for themselves. And when the wind moves through them, it's not just air. It's the sound of sustainability, of care. This project is perfect for small spaces and curious hands. Children love it, decorating, planting, watering. And so do grown-ups who long for more greenery but lack the ground. It's compact, it's colorful, it's clever, and most of all it's kind. Kind to the earth, to your pocket, and to your spirit. With every leaf that sprouts, you're reminded. Growth doesn't need grandeur. Just intention, sunlight, and love tucked inside a bottle's curve. Let your garden rise. Not outwards but upwards in layers of green. Once upon a time they held music, spinning discs, favorite albums, forgotten playlists. Now those old CD spindle covers become cradles for green beginnings. A humble dome, once destined for the trash, transformed into a sanctuary for sprouts. This is a project born from curiosity and care. Take the clear lid of a CD spindle, the kind that once housed stacks of blank discs, and place it gently over a small container filled with soil and seeds. Inside, warmth gathers, moisture stays, light filters in, and beneath it all, life stirs. It's a miniature greenhouse, a perfect microclimate, one that fits snugly on a windowsill, on your desk, or even by the kitchen sink. Watch as the first tender leaf pushes through the soil, protected from drafts and dryness, cocooned in repurposed plastic. It's magic, really, but also science. Heat, humidity, and light, all working together in your favor. Label each one, decorate the base if you like, and rotate them gently every few days. When the time is right, lift the lid and let the fresh air kiss the seedlings. Then, move them into the garden or bigger pots, confident they've had the gentlest start possible. This isn't just seed starting, it's a quiet morning ritual, a way of saying, you don't need more, just enough. In every spindle lies the beginning of a harvest. Let the music of new life play once more, rooted in dirt, not data. It once hung in silence, a relic of an age where birds sang from gilded corners. Now, the birdcage has no bars to trap, only tendrils to spill, roots to cradle, and petals to catch the wind. In your garden, it becomes poetry in steel. The transformation begins with a forgotten cage, maybe found at a thrift store or tucked away in a shed. Cleaned, refreshed with weatherproof paint, and filled with a nest of moss or coconut liner. Into this soft bed, you place your choice. Ivy, ferns, tiny flowers, even succulents if the light is kind. Its structure invites design. Let the plants tumble through the gaps or stand proud at the center. Hang it from a strong branch or a pergola beam, where it catches sunlight and shadow alike. As breezes pass through, it sways gently, not with flight but with grace. It feels whimsical, yes, but it's also grounded. A clever repurpose of what was once decorative, now useful again. You give new life not only to plants, but to the very object itself. This planter is more than a container. It's a scene. Vignette. A story unfolding overhead. Neighbors will pause, guests will smile, and your garden will whisper, something here is different. So if you see a rusting birdcage, don't walk by. Take it home. Wash off the dust. Fill it with green and light. Let the birds fly free, and the flowers take their place. It once hung in silence, a relic of an age where birds sang from gilded corners. Now, the birdcage has no bars to trap, only tendrils to spill, roots to cradle, and petals to catch the wind. In your garden, it becomes poetry in steel. The transformation begins with a forgotten cage, maybe found at a thrift store or tucked away in a shed. Cleaned, refreshed with weatherproof paint, and filled with a nest of moss or coconut liner. Into this soft bed, you place your choice. Ivy, ferns, tiny flowers, even succulents if the light is kind. Its structure invites design. Let the plants tumble through the gaps or stand proud at the center. Hang it from a strong branch or a pergola beam, where it catches sunlight and shadow alike. As breezes pass through, it sways gently, not with flight but with grace. It feels whimsical, yes, but it's also grounded. A clever repurpose of what was once decorative, now useful again. You give new life not only to plants, but to the very object itself. This planter is more than a container, it's a scene. Vignette. A story unfolding overhead. Neighbors will pause, guests will smile, and your garden will whisper, "Something here is different." So if you see a rusting birdcage, don't walk by. Take it home. Wash off the dust. Fill it with green and light. Let the birds fly free, and the flowers take their place. Every gardener has one. An old hose with a slow leak, tucked behind the shed or looped beside a fence. Its days of carrying water may be over, but its story isn't done. With a little coaxing, it becomes something else entirely. Sculpture, structure, and sanctuary. Picture this. A hose, once limp and idle, now rising in elegant spirals beside a tomato vine, cradling it gently as it reaches toward the sun. The shape holds the plant with grace, dancing lightly with the wind but always steady. There's poetry in its curve, like a quiet guardian keeping watch. Creating it is easy. Coil the hose into shapes, spirals, arches, even hearts, then anchor them in the soil with old tent stakes or wooden pegs. Their flexible nature allows for creativity, bending to your vision, whether geometric or organic. You can paint them if you like, or let their original green fade with pride. Let beans climb, let cucumbers twine. Each plant finds its own rhythm around this unexpected pillar. It's not just function, it's form, statement piece, practical beauty. And it costs nothing more than a moment of thought and the willingness to see potential where others see trash. And in that transformation, something magical happens. Not just in your garden but in you. Because this is more than recycling. It's a kind of resurrection. And your plants, they'll thank you with fruit, with bloom, and with the joy of climbing higher. There's something intimate about growing herbs. It's not about landscaping or grand design. It's about daily life. The quiet joy of clipping fresh mint for tea or snipping thyme for soup. And what better vessel for such closeness than the humble mason jar? Clear, simple, and sturdy, these jars carry stories. Of preserves, of kitchens past, of dinners shared. Now they become a new kind of keeper. Small glass gardens that line your ledge, your patio, or even your wall. Begin with a handful of jars, some pebbles for drainage, and rich soil layered gently inside. Choose your herbs. Basil for brightness, rosemary for memory, mint for cool summer evenings. Plant them carefully, and let them rest in the sun. You'll see the roots reaching, the soil darkening with life. The transparency is part of the beauty. You watch it grow from the inside out. Mount the jars on a wooden pallet for a vertical display, or let them stand proud in rows along a sill. Decorate with twine or paint, or leave them bare to celebrate their form. Each jar is a window into something alive, something nourishing. Water lightly, rotate with the light, and harvest by hand. These aren't just herbs. They're little rituals. They turn meals into moments, and spaces into sanctuaries. And they remind you, every time you see them, that even the smallest things, when given care, can flourish beautifully. What once strained spaghetti now cradles life. In a twist of creative grace, the kitchen colander, pierced, worn, and retired, becomes a hanging garden of blooms. It's the kind of upcycle that doesn't shout but sings gently with charm. The holes that once drained water now offer perfect breathability for soil. No drilling, no guesswork. Just add a liner of coconut fiber, fabric, or even a reused mesh bag. Then pour in potting soil like pouring in the start of something new. Choose your flowers carefully or not at all. Maybe you let the colors guide you. Violets, daisies, or trailing ivy. Let them spill through the perforated sides, growing wild and soft like nature's own chandelier. Tie strong ropes or chains to the colander's handles, and hang it from a porch beam, tree limb, or shepherd's hook. Suddenly, it hovers, an orbiting burst of color against the sky or wall. There's something deeply satisfying about this transformation. The colander, ordinary, overlooked, becomes a container for joy. Its retro curves and speckled enamel add character to even the smallest garden. It's not just about beauty but breathability. The design helps roots stay healthy, water drain freely, and the plants thrive with almost no fuss. And when someone asks where you bought it, you'll smile. Because you didn't. You saved it, imagined it, and brought it back to life. Let every bloom be a reminder. Nothing is ever truly done. Not in a garden. Not in you. There's a certain romance in rust. A quiet dignity in a bucket that's carried years of work, now filled not with water but with blossoms. This is where the past meets the present. In the soft clink of a metal handle, the scrape of gravel underfoot, the whisper of lavender leaves swaying in the breeze. You take an old bucket, forgotten and scuffed, and turn it into something that holds color and life. It begins with a hole, drilled into the bottom for drainage. Small step with big rewards. Line the inside with pebbles, then layer in soil rich and dark. Choose your flowers with your heart. Geraniums for nostalgia, chamomile for peace, daisies for laughter. Let the blooms clash or blend. There are no rules. Set them on your stoop, tuck them beside the garden gate, or group them in threes like old friends leaning on one another. Their weight grounds them, their curves soften the space, and their history adds texture to your story. If you wish, paint them. Chalk white, seafoam, dusty rose, or let the metal age naturally, a living patina against fresh petals. Each bucket becomes a chapter in your garden. A story not of expense, but of attention. Not of perfection, but of personality. You didn't need a catalog. You needed a little vision. A memory, a plant, a place to grow. This is gardening with soul. The sun moves slowly across your garden, and suddenly, there it is. A flicker of color, a playful dance of light on the wall, soft blues and warm reds trembling on the breeze. It's not glass or crystal. Something simpler, softer. Something made with love. These sun catchers begin with discarded plastic spoons, the kind left over from a birthday party, a picnic, a forgotten drawer. With a little paint, a bit of patience, and a curious spirit, they become petals in a new kind of flower. One that catches sunlight instead of rain. Each spoon is lightly tinted with watercolor or food-safe acrylics. Then, shaped and arranged into circles or layered spirals. Add beads, small bells, maybe even found objects from a walk. Shells, buttons, bits of colored glass. Fuse them together with clear adhesive or heat, and string them with fishing line to sway freely. Hang them from a tree branch, a garden hook, or even in your window. And as the light passes through, it paints your space with calm. Children love it. Adults pause for longer than expected. It's not about perfection, it's about play. About giving beauty a chance to appear from something forgotten. Every flicker of light that dances on your wall becomes a whisper. You made this. Let the sun catch more than your flowers. Let it catch your creativity, refracted through color, reborn from the simplest of things. Some melodies don't come from instruments. They drift in with the wind, gentle notes strung from memories and metal, echoing softly through the garden. This wind chime begins in the kitchen, with an old cutlery holder, mesh, perforated, forgotten in a drawer. Held up to the light, its holes become portals of possibility. Thread fishing line through each opening. From them hang a collection of sound. Weathered keys, glass beads, tiny bells, polished stones, or even spoon handles smoothed by time. Let each strand be different, irregular, imperfect, your own quiet signature. As you work, there's a rhythm, not rushed, not technical. Just the soft tap of metal, the crinkle of line, the warm weight of sunlight on your back. Once complete, hang it where the breeze lives. From a tree, a porch beam, or an iron hook among your flowers. And then wait. The wind will find it. It always does. The chimes won't shout. They'll whisper. Soft, musical moments that draw you into the present. A reminder that even discarded things still have songs to sing. Children will pause mid-run to listen. Guests will ask what store you found it in. And you'll smile, knowing it was made from pieces of life. The ones you refuse to throw away. Let your garden have a voice, gentle and personal. Let it sing in colors and tinkles. This is what happens when sound meets soul. At first glance, it's just an old tire, cracked, weather-worn and heavy with years. But beneath its dusty surface lies the shape of something unexpected. A garden bench, blooming with life. The tire planter bench is a blend of rest and renewal. It's where flowers grow and people pause. The transformation begins with a coat of paint, earthy clay red, sunny yellow, or deep moss green. Something that speaks to the plants it will hold and the comfort it will offer. Cut the top or side wall to form a cradle. Fill the center with soil, plant creeping vines, bright flowers or even herbs. Then add a sturdy plank across the top, sealed and sanded smooth. A place to sit, to sip tea, to tie shoelaces, or to listen to the wind through the leaves. Anchored by weight and framed by blooms, it becomes more than a seat. It becomes a memory in the making. Children will climb on it. Neighbors will comment. Butterflies might stop to rest beside your elbow. And each time you sit, you'll feel it. The simple magic of taking something bound for waste and giving it a second life. Stronger, softer, rooted. This bench is not just a resting place. It's a conversation. Between old and new. Between steel and soil. Between what was and what can be. Build one. Sit there. Grow something beneath your feet. Let the garden hold you too. In the silence between the winds, something delicate turns. A glint of color, a soft flicker of shadow. From branches, fences, and old trellises, tin cans dangle, not as refuse but as reverent art. Once used for beans or peaches, these vessels of the ordinary are reborn as kinetic sculpture. Their bodies, now softened by time or brightened with paint, bear punched-out stories. Stars, spirals, initials, the outlines of birds mid-flight. Start by freezing the cans. This keeps their shape as you tap small holes with a nail and hammer. It's a rhythm, not a race. Every strike adds lightness to steel, carving shapes into what once held weight. Paint them wild or leave them bare. Add a coat of clear sealant to protect against rain, or let the rust creep in slowly, telling its own version of beauty. Hang them from branches, fence posts, or porch beams with wire, twine, or thin rope. Space them apart like thoughts on the breeze. As the day turns, the light dances through their holes. As the wind stirs, they sway and softly clink, a gentle reminder that movement and shadow are as much a part of art as color. And as dusk comes, you can add candles or LEDs within, but even without them, they remain a gallery in motion. Nature curated, memory made. It's not just craft, it's reclamation of beauty, of what you already have. Let your garden be more than a garden. Let it be a place where stories hang and breathe.